Go back to the same numbers. So, anyway, kind of forget where I was. I had to get out and pump some gas, talking to some of the guys in there. They was talking about that Kentucky Derby horse race. Where they took the win away from that one horse, and people lost. People lost. One guy lost like $9 million. It was crazy. But it's part of life. Crazy things happen. I don't do much gambling other than maybe a couple pick threes, a couple pick fours, and that's good for me. I got enough problems, and I had enough bills for a lifetime. So I'm just watching this gas pump. Gas really shot up in the past week. But I want to do so much. I want to travel more. I want to see more places. There's so much I haven't got to do yet. And I'm going to do it. I am going to do it. Who knows? We could really, a group of us could really, get this thing so well and have it like a fine-tuned machine, to where we help one another. And, we may end up on a cruise together, man. All of us, doing a cruise together, going on vacation, I'm talking about living life, I'm talking about having fun. You know what I mean? Let's get off the couch. Get out of them bags of potato chips, Let's try to be healthy, I don't know about you guys. I'm 46 years old. I've already been telling myself for a while, and you've done waited too long. It's too late. But, I'm kind of pumping myself back up in a way that, I got a lot of time left, And, thank the good Lord that, I don't look too weather beaten and too bad for being 46, thank the good Lord. So I'm happy, I'm good with it. Like I say, I got good teeth now, I'm really, really excited about that, guys. That was a really big thing for me. I've been waiting for that for many, many years, But I gotta put you back on. I'm back. I had to close the old gas pump thing up, So you gotta have fuel, right? Go down the road, But we were talking about teeth a little bit a while ago, and at this point right now, it's only been 2.5 days, so there's a lot of swelling and things still going down. So therefore that's why they're still a little loose. I go back in. See, today's Monday. I go back in Friday. Once they heal up a little, and so he can readjust them. So when I'm talking, they won't be like flopping around like them plastic teeth you used to put on the counter. But no. My wife has upper partials, and I tell you, she's got one of the most beautiful smiles that I think I've ever seen. I'm not kidding you. She smiles, it lights the room up. It really does. And because before that, I wasn't a big fan of having to put a whole partial plate denture and all that stuff in. But it's not such a big deal. It really isn't. They were gentle. They did a good job. Again, it was affordable denture in Hagerstown, Maryland, and they were wonderful. I'm not joking with you. The doctor slash dentist that did the actual pulling, He was so gentle that, and you all know what I mean by this. You have some dentists that when they give you a Novocaine needle, you feel that sucker. Like you feel it jabbing like a spear, and like it goes straight into a nerve and shoots up through the top of your head, and you got ones that know how not to do that. And I'm telling you, I'm not. Oh my God, I haven't even had to take an ibuprofen. Like I say, today's Monday, and I got it all done on Friday at 1 o'clock. He was just so gentle. He was like, he put the topical stuff on first. And he was like, he kind of let it sit in for a minute. He wanted to numb the surface up good. Like, he didn't rush things. You know what I mean? It wasn't about hurrying up, making this money and stuff like that. And that was really nice. So he let us sit for a bit. He come back. And I'm not going to lie to you, when he first came over, when I go to a dentist, especially if I'm getting teeth pulled, the very first thing that I'm not looking forward to is that Novocaine needle. And you know what I'm talking about, But, and in telling this story, I am not exaggerating a bit. I mean, not a bit. He kind of did the hour ones, like he kind of pulled my lip out a little bit like that, and he kind of shook it in a way, like he was kind of working it as he worked that Novocaine needle in, and I tell you, you couldn't even feel the pinch of it at all. He was like in and out of there before you even know he had time to like spray his Novocaine up there. I mean, it was very talented, And now I'm gonna be real honest with you. Like I told you I would. I had the front teeth on this side here. Okay. For some reason, they were a little more. They were a little more gentle. They hurt a little more. They were a little more touchy. And because after he numbed me up really good, and he let everything sit up for a while, he wanted to make sure it was good and numb. I mean, I was numb all the way up to my forehead, I mean, I had 8 teeth coming out. That's a lot of teeth. So nonetheless, where was I? Bear with me, I'm sorry. This happens sometimes. But he would, put some pressure on each tooth, and be like, how's that feel? He would try to wiggle around a little bit, stuff like that, put pressure on it to make sure I was comfortable, and like, the back one was like, yeah, I feel pressure, but no pain at all. He come around here, still good, but when he got around to this side of the front, these couple right here, for some reason, they was, they was them type that had them nerves in them that shoot up through the top of the center of your head, But in order, what he had to do for that, because they were so sensitive, is he had to give me a couple Novocaine shots, not on the outer, but inside on the roof of the mouth, in that area, and that's the touchiest place, when it comes to, getting any kind of, needles or Novocaine needles in your mouth, is the roof of your mouth. So, but even still, with it being the most sensitive spot, I'm not even kidding with you, I could barely even feel it, It was almost like somebody was just like, maybe touched me with a toothpick. Not to puncture me or anything, but just kind of took a toothpick, kind of held it against me, like, to where it don't hurt you, but you feel something. And that's kind of what, the best way I can describe that area. And finally, that got so daggone numb. My nose bones and everything were numb. It was crazy, but I got in that chair at 1:00, and I was out of that chair with teeth in my mouth at 1:56. And tell me if that's not amazing, It really is. Now granted, I had to come first thing in the morning, so they could take the mold and whatnot, so they could make them as close to my teeth as they could and stuff like that. And that gave the man that actually makes the dental work in the back, it gives him time to have it ready when you come back. So after you get them pulled, they can put them right in, and they call these temporaries, even though they're like permanent. They put these in so your mouth heals, to the form that it's supposed to, so your bone don't grow down or your bone don't degenerate up. How people like have the Gumby effect kind of thing, where it really ages you, And I'm not gonna lie, that's something I was really scared about. I really was. I'm just, so far I'm grateful, and so far so good on that, I already know how it's going to end up when they heal all the way and everything, because my wife had hers done at the same place, and she goes to put hers in, and she don't have to put any kind of that like fixative stuff or anything on it. He just makes them so well. It just goes in the roof of your mouth like with a suction. I mean, you really got to pull on them to get them out. That's how good this guy is. So, of course I'm going to have a little bit of issues right now. It's been, let's see, Friday, just Saturday, Sunday. It's been 3 days exactly. And I'll go in this Friday, which will be 1 week. And because he wants to adjust them and snug them up, and then I'll hold on to these for a few months. Why? Because it takes time for all that to heal. For the gums to heal nice, for the bone to get good and healed. They want it 100% healed before they put what they call the permanent ones in. They'll look exactly like these, but don't ask me if they're made out of something different or if they just make you another set. I'm not sure, but they do end up making you 2 sets, and they say a lot of times that they do that because it's the only way to make sure you have teeth that fit very, very tight, because obviously, if you try to, bear with me, I'll roll my window up in a minute, but, like when my wife got her first set, the place that she got it done, the place that she originally got it done, they were horrible. Number one, the biggest thing that they tell you to do after they pull them, and when you leave that very first day, and you have your temporary dentures in your teeth, you put them in, before you leave the dentist, and it's extremely important to leave them in, for, like I said, the healing process. It keeps the holes a little cleaner. It kind of helps with the like I was telling you, so your bone don't grow down. Because sometimes people get your teeth pulled and your bone wants to grow down, like to where your teeth were almost, so you have something to chew with. Some people, do it really, really bad. And like I said, some people have the opposite effect. If they don't keep them in, and they'll actually like lose bone growth. And then you got more like wrinkles around your mouth, and just, it really puts more years on you. So, but anyway, the first place she went to, he pulled them all, and, that wasn't so bad. She had more to pull than I did. It wasn't no cakewalk, but she said he wasn't too bad on that part. But after that, the first pair of dentures that he made her was it. Knowing that, and he told her that the day that she left there, he told her, yeah, you can take them out tonight if you need to, if they start throbbing or hurting. And it's like, that's the opposite of what you do, And, long story short on that story, she had those teeth, because of course, her gums healed up after, months and months and stuff, but when they healed up, they shrank, of course, because it all swelled up from the pulling, and which they were all shrunk back to normal. Those dentures that should have been temporary they were loose. She had to put so much Fixodent in her mouth, it was ridiculous. I mean, she had a hell of a time, like when she'd want to take them out, clean them or whatever, trying to get all that gook out of her mouth, I mean, it was terrible. And unfortunately, but maybe it was a fortunate accident. Our little min pen, her name is Duchess, call her Dutters. But our min pen, she left them out one night on the, she got a little stand by her, by the bed, and well, as well as I do, something's been in your mouth or anything else, a dog will chew on anything, and he ended up, well, believe it or not, he got a hold of them twice. The first time he got a hold of them, he chewed on them far enough back where it chewed like part of the back of them off, but she was still able to wear them and you couldn't see it. and it was like that for quite a while. And then he got a hold of, or she got a hold of him again sometime later, and this time she did some damage more around where you could see it. You know, she was able to put enough fixes in it and kind of put them in just to have something there. But the minute I seen how uncomfortable it was, and she couldn't talk, like when she would try to talk, air would come out of the side of her mouth, you know, and I've always been really big on, you know, not only wanting a really pretty smile, but I think a pretty smile really does a lot for a person, you know. It's like the first thing that you see when you see somebody, like whether, you know, you think how nice they are, or you know, whatever. It's just your first impression, you know. And so nonetheless, when that happened, I made her an appointment at the place that I went to, because they had just moved up here, and you know, I called it in. Luckily, I had just enough money in the bank. Now, she didn't need any teeth pulled, you know, so she didn't need to get like a temporary and then the permanent or nothing like that. All she needed them to do was a mold of it and just fit her with a permanent. And it was like $325, and that was with tax included. And I didn't even tell her that I made the appointment. And I made the appointment for the very next morning. And I woke her up that morning and told her, get up and get ready. You say, why? Where are we going? Because I wanted to surprise her, you know. I said, you're going to get your teeth today. And she was like, no, quit lying. And, but yeah, she, you know, once Duchess got a hold of him that second time and she couldn't hardly talk, you know, she only had to wear them like that for one day, you know, and I wasn't gonna, you know, I was able to, and that made me feel so good to do that for her. And talking about a feel-good move, man, you know, wow, because it made her so happy, you know. Don't take much to make her happy, but it really made her happy. So, but anyway, the crazy thing about it was, ever since she got down, she's never had to use not even a drop of Fixodent, you know. It's crazy. Like, she's really got a pull on him to get them things out. He's got them fitting so good in the suction, just the way it works with the roof of the mouth and all. You know, I never knew this before, but it holds them in all on its own. You know, and she can talk. She can talk a lot more than I can. So, you know, her teeth would be flopping around if they weren't tight. But yeah, you know, that's like probably the most positive thing that I've done for myself. Last week, because my psychiatrist, he moved, he changed locations on me, and I was with him for probably 3 or 4 years, and he had got a job at a hospital, and you know, it was a better job for him, and I was happy for him. I was, you know, he was the type of psychiatrist where he even shared a little bit about his own life, you know. And if any of you ever been to one, you know, when they do that, it makes you feel closer to him. You know, you get more of a connection. You know, and sure enough, you know, the job, you know, where I seen him at. I'm not going to say the name of the place because that's not important. But you know, they were just throwing so much like patient and paperwork on him, and just like, I mean, they were working him into the ground. And I mean, we're talking about a psychiatrist, you know, and he's barely getting by in life. You know what I mean? And you know, and they only have one child. So it's not like they have a big family or anything, and he was struggling, you know. A daggone doctor struggling to survive, you know. It was like, I don't know, it threw me for a loop, you know, because once you become a doctor, we all know the rule. You're supposed to be, you know, set, you know. At least that's the way to make it look. A doctor or lawyer and you're set. But he got a hospital position, you know, in a psych ward where he could work with more personal patients and stuff like that. And I think the money was better. I think it was less of a caseload. And I was happy for him. I really was. You know. I wanted good for him. I was happy for him. He was a good, real good psychiatrist. So, but nonetheless, so what they did, because it was like a type of institute or whatnot where they have multiple doctors, and so they just switched me to another doctor, right? They just, you know, put me on another doctor's caseload, and it just kept the train moving, right? At least that was that was supposed to be the idea. And here's the other thing about being on certain medications, you know. So especially, I know there's certain ones we have to take that we truly rely on, that we have to live on. I do. I really do. But there's other ones that, you know, that they give that zombie people out, you know, like when they prescribe benzos and things like that, you know, and I'm saying that is you know, I've eaten many benzos, trust me. So I'm not like a non-addict talking about people that like that, because I love Xanax and shit, you know. Always have. Wish I didn't. But you know, I was on Xanax, and not a high dose though. I think it was like 1 milligram 2 to 3 times a day, you know, but that's enough. And also Wellbutrin, and there was one other one, hydrozine or something. It helped with anxiety. But anyway, when they switched doctors on me, when he left, and I got on this other doctor's caseload at the same place, same company, establishment, he took me off of every medication I was on. He said that, you know, that I didn't need to be on them, you know. The first thing he snatched was a Xanax. He did that quicker than lightning, you know. I think he was willing to continue the Wellbutrin, but by that point I had stopped taking the Wellbutrin because it was kind of holding me back, you know. The side effects, they weren't bad, you know, compared to, but there's still some side effects, you know. So I kind of wanted to get away from that because, like I told you, you know, 23, 25 years, you know, being on methadone is like, well, you know, a lot of people used to call them liquid handcuffs, you know, which is the God's honest truth. Because try to go on vacation without them things. Or try to have something unfortunate happen where you got to sit in jail for 8 days. You know? Oh my goodness. You know? And I mean this when I tell you this because I love life and I want to live. I mean that. But when I'm sick, when I'm going through that kind of sickness, if it had to stay that way, like if my life would just exist like that for good and wouldn't get better, yeah, I would rather definitely be in peace on the other side, if you know what I mean, you know. Because it's just it's awful, it's horrible, you know, and you get in a place like, especially if something unfortunate, and I had been in trouble for many years when this happened. It was some stupid domestic stuff with me and my wife, and never put my hands on her before either, you know, she'll tell you that. But nonetheless, they took me in. It was a whole bunch of bull crap. And, you know, I ended up sitting in there for 8 days, you know. And, you know, I didn't eat for 8 days, you know. I tried to drink a little bit, but, man, it's, I think heroin is more like, you know, it hits you harder, faster, like hurt wise, like, you know, flipping out wise. I think it's more intense, but it don't last nowhere near as long as methadone withdrawal. You know, methadone withdrawal is probably a good 6 months. And that's a fact, you know. It really is. I remember years back when I was still in a little bit of trouble, and I was on 110 milligrams of methadone a day, you know, and I had been on them for years, you know, and I had this violation coming up, and I knew that I had to pay that tax.